it's JJ Coyle here with my brother, going Luciano. And something that's always been a bit of a bee on my bonnet since they announced the Premier League Hall of Fame. First 2 inductees, Thierry Henry, Alan Shearer. Not sure that they should be up there, but in my mind, I really have a gripe with it because I feel that the best Premier League player of all time, or the greatest Premier League player of all time, should be Eric Cantona. I don't really see much of a debate with that. And obviously, you're happy that it was Thierry Henry was considered the greatest Premier League player of all time.
I mean, I know what you're saying about Eric Cantona, and I think as a real United fan, you know, there's a lot of United fans that probably agree with you. But you know, when you're talking about the greatest Premier League player or greatest Premier League striker, you know, you've got guys like Robbie Fowler, Les Ferdinand, Ian Wright, Andy Cole, Alan Shearer, and people would say, you know, was he better than them? You know, so before you even, and that's without even throwing Henry in the mix, because I think
Cantona is Cantona better than them?
Well, it's like, is Cantona better than them guys? And then on top of all that, Henry clearly was better than all them guys. And I think it's a tough one. I think the only person really you could probably top Henry is probably going to be Ronaldo when he retires.
In terms of the Premier League, since its inception, United have been dominant in terms of how many Premier Leagues they've managed to amass, and there hasn't been a more valuable person than Eric Cantona. In terms of one player that has had an impact on a team that's helped them towards this dominating period. In fact, he was what many people would consider the final missing piece. I mean, the case for Cantona, for me, is it's
the case.
It's like this. He comes into United in the first year of the Premier League era, the first year. But just before that, he's won the title with Leeds. Now he's fallen out, but before he leaves Leeds, he scores a hat-trick in the Charity Shield against Liverpool. One of few people to have recorded such a feat. And then he's picked up at United. United pick him up. They're between 8th and 5th when he gets there. They've had a poor start to the season. It's middle of November to late November.
What is it you're trying to say, though? You're saying that Cantona is the most influential player in of Premiership history.
I'm saying it's the greatest. So in terms of like what he's been able to do, he come to a team that hadn't won the league in 26 years. He joined late November.
So you're saying he's better than Henry?
I am saying he's the greatest Premier League player in the history of the Premier League by the Premier League's Hall of Fame rules, in which case you have to be retired. I'm not entering the Ronaldo thing.
How many times did he win the Golden Boot?
Well, I mean, first of all,
how many assists did he have overall in his career?
You know,
come on, fella. If you're going to say he's the greatest, let's get some stats down.
Okay, well, before we dive into that then, since you want to deviate me from where I want to go with it, let me ask you a question. Is Eric Cantona better than Wayne Rooney?
No, you've just said you're saying that he's the greatest Premiership player of all time. So in your eyes, you're saying that he's better than Rooney already.
Yeah, but what do you think? But, I mean, Wayne Rooney has scored the most goals in Manchester United history. He's not better than Cantona, though, is he?
What I think is Henry's better than Cantona. That's what I think.
Henry's played 8 seasons and won 2 titles.
Yeah, he's won 4 Golden Boots.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Premier League champion twice. He's won 4 Player of the Months.
Yeah.
He's scored 175 goals.
Yeah.
He's won 157 games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a guy, he gets a goal or assist pretty much every game. 74 assists he finished with.
Okay.
Thierry Henry, he was a phenomenal. When he was in his prime at Arsenal, he was unplayable.
Yeah.
He used to run the whole pitch and score. Now, Cantona was great. He was magical. He had, you know, he was a beautiful player in the number 7. He had the charisma, he had the character, you know, but look at his disciplinary record as well. You know, we were without him for a long time, almost a year. And then, you know, ultimately he retired when he probably could have carried on playing.
if we want to get into the short of it, Cantona wins the title with Leeds in his first season. The season before, he'd won the title with Marseille. He joins United. He plays 4 full seasons. He wins 4 leagues. He wins 2 doubles. In one FA Cup final, he scored 2 goals against Chelsea. In the other FA Cup final, he scored in 5 of the 6 rounds of the FA Cup that year, or 6 of the 7 rounds. Including the goal in the final against Liverpool.
I remember that goal. It's where he tilted back and volleyed it through the crowd.
It's beautiful, wasn't it?
Lovely technique. But so, listen, you're talking about the greatest player.
So he's won though. In terms of that spell, I mean, first of all, he's won 6 leagues in 6 full years of playing football. At United, he's won 4 in 4 full seasons. The one season that he wasn't able to complete because he got sent off again. He got sent off and then he kicked the guy in the crowd and was suspended, which also hampered him into the season after. That's the only time we didn't win it. So really, by measurement of his value to the team, not only had he been the best player for the previous 2 seasons, when he was out of the team, United came up short. So you can see what an important player he was to the whole team in his absence as well. In that spell, for me, Eric Cantona comes at United and he's had a bit of a Jordan legacy. In terms of, he's dominated in that era comfortably. I mean, could you say the same thing about Thierry Henry? It's great scoring hundreds and thousands of goals, like even Pele scored. Yeah, it's great scoring all them goals, but it's about the titles. It's about what Alan Shearer scored loads of goals, 1 Premier League title. Gerrard, fantastic assists. But if he didn't win the Champions League, which he did do, fair play to him, we're looking at his Premier League career, and for all them statistical data, what Premier Leagues did he win? We really say no, Gerrard. What are we saying about Gerrard's Premier League thing? So
for me, you're coming at Henry. I mean, I like it. At the end of the day, you want to bring Cantona to the fore. I love Cantona. He's an incredible player. Yeah, he had all the skills. We could do with the Cantona right now. That guy, he just oozed absolute class. I loved everything about Eric. I loved what he brought to the club. The fact that he made the training facility because he wanted to warm up indoors, which Andy Cole later started using. And he, eating and sleeping at the training ground. He brought loads of things to the infrastructure of the club. That's how influential he was on Manchester United. And in terms of what he's won, incredible. But we're talking about the greatest Premiership player. Now, I think it's going to be Ronaldo at some point, but I think up to where we are now, in terms of, and there's been some great players. You've had the Gianfranco Zolas and Ruud Hullits, and Asprilla was incredible. David Ginola, and I'm a celebrity. What a player he was. But ultimately, Thierry Henry. I mean, I'm going to win this argument. But I'll just save my point for right till the end because I don't want to end it. I don't want this thing to end early. I want to drag it out for 15 rounds if I can. But in terms of the better Premiership player, Henry was as influential to Arsenal as Cantona was to United, in my opinion. They went through a whole season unbeaten. They won 2 Premier Leagues when ultimately United were just on fire. They were our biggest rivals. That Arsenal United game was always a tough game. And you know what? We were a good team. And they were a great team. But let me tell you something. When they had Henry playing at his very best, he was always dangerous. And I just can't help forgetting I'll never forget the what's up, the what's up when he did that celebration after his little flick and volley over Barthez. And not only the fact that I saw him on TV playing for Arsenal, but I saw him play for France as well. You know what I mean? When we were watching Italy, and he's always just been a class player, and he showed that. I mean, he went to Barcelona, did it over there. Henry, for me, 275 games in the Prem, almost averaging a goal or an assist a game. He's won 4 Golden Boots, 2 Premier, and he was the absolute kingpin of Arsenal. He really was. And I think arguably he could go down as probably the greatest Arsenal player of all time. And, that's another strong shout. Obviously, I'm not au fait with Arsenal as much as Arsenal fans are, but from my point, from an external point of view, United fan, he's got to be up there.
Eric Cantona is literally 100% in English football in full seasons completed. Unless we want to say his sample size isn't big enough. He's come to Leeds. He's won the title in his first season. He's gone to Manchester United, who were failing to live up to their expectations, and he's pushed them over the line. You know, Ryan Giggs said we were a good team, and he made us a brilliant team. And the thing is the United team were nearly ready to win the Premiership at the time, or the Old English First Division, because they'd won the Cup Winners' Cup, beating Barcelona. You know, they'd already showed that they had that they were on track and they were about to win something, but they were off the pace. And Cantona came and he pushed them to winning that first league title, by 10 clear points. The season after, he's the player of the season and he wins it again. And the next season, everything's rosy in the garden until he gets suspended, which United fall away. It was that Andy Cole didn't take that chance at West Ham.
Do you think? Yeah? Did you think that Eric Cantona's disciplinary record was an issue?
I need to finish my little piece out.
I'm just asking.
So when he comes back from his suspension, you know, here's a guy that, you know, United are off the pace and chasing away Newcastle. He goes on a run of scoring in 6 consecutive games. 4 of which were 1-0 wins. And that took us from being, like I say, 10 points away to being on top of Newcastle. And further to that, we've got rid of Mark Hughes. We've got rid of Andrei Kanchelskis, and you know what he was bringing to the table.
Decent.
And Paul Ince, 3 vital, and we're bringing up all the youngsters. So Cantona.
Hold on a second. When you're talking about all the youngsters, we are talking about
Phil Neville, Gary Neville. We're talking about Phil Neville as well.
David Beckham.
Yeah, no, Beckham was in there.
What about Ryan Giggs? Was he a part of it all?
Well, Giggs was he was probably the second most valuable player offensively in that first title run.
Greatest United player, Cantona or Giggs, in your opinion?
It's a no-brainer. It's 110% Eric Cantona. You know, Giggs doesn't get into the conversation, so Bobby Charlton can sit down at the table, but I think Ryan Giggs is on the outside looking in.
Who's won the most in Premiership history? Premier League, Premiership.
Phil Neville has won more.
Got the most trophies.
Phil Neville has got more trophies and has won more than Paul McGrath, but he's not in the same ilk. Yeah,
who's got the most trophies?
Phil Neville was bringing down Ray Parlour in the 99 semi-final, almost costing us the treble. Needed the Schmeichel save. The same guy.
Answer the question, please.
The same guy who gave away a penalty against Romania for England. This guy was a liability defensively in key moments, but he's won more. So is he better than Paul McGrath? Is he Paul McGrath, who can contain Baggio in '94? Prime Baggio can contain him for 90 minutes when Ireland beat Italy. So don't talk to me about Phil Neville.
I love it. I like it.
Yeah, but you're talking about, he's won more, he's won awards. And hold on, if you're talking about who's won awards, Cantona, right, in 5 seasons, he's won 4 titles. The other season, he was suspended. And out of the 4 league titles, he's won 2 doubles. In one final, he scored 2 goals. In the other final, he scores the only goal. I mean, Eric Cantona, when you compare him and Henry in his 8-year span has won the title twice and has won 2 FA Cups. So in double the period of full seasons, he's got half the league titles.
Is this about trophies?
Well, we're talking about Premier League, and if you want to talk about the French
I just want
section,
to know where you want to go, because wherever you want to go, I'll return. I'll defend your point.
No, but the debate is who's had the better career. It's not who's had the better career, Henry versus Cantona. That's not the debate here. It's not even.
Yeah, because you know Henry's had a better career.
No. Because
he had a better career.
I don't mind visiting that point. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's visit it then.
We will do in a second, and it's not about. So it's not about who's had a better career, and it's not about who's the better footballer. It's not about who's the better footballer. It's who was the greatest in the Premier League. Now, in Thierry Henry, he got wild numbers and numbers that stack up, and Alan Shearer got wild numbers that stack up. But in Cantona's 5 years,
I don't agree with you. I just don't agree with you.
In 5 years,
what do you want me to say?
He was United. He was the dominating figure in that 5-year stretch where United were just flexing out. Now, I think the only way
you're just also what you've decided to do is you picked a topic. Cantona versus Henry. And what you're trying to do now is you're trying to make it fit your narrative. And I'm not buying into it, fella. It is who's the greatest player. That's it. And if you want to talk about the greatest player, you can't talk about a player for 5 seasons, just like you didn't. You mentioned Leeds, you mentioned Marseille. So you want to talk about him as a footballer and his career. Right? And if you're going to compare him to Thierry Henry, you've got to look at what he's achieved in Europe, what he's achieved on the international stage during that period of 5 years, and what has he actually won? Is he won Player of the Seasons? You've got to look at everything. You've got to look at it holistically. And I think what you're doing is you're just looking at a little thing, and you're just trying to manipulate it. Because as a United fan, you speak to any United fan, and I mean, we still sing his name around the stadium now. There's some nostalgia there with Cantona. He's a magical guy. He really is. But you've got Ryan Giggs and everything that he's won. So you've got to look at, in terms of career for United, because you're saying who's the greatest Premiership player. So therefore, you've got to look at the clubs and who was the greatest player in that club. Now, is Cantona the greatest player ever to be part of Manchester United's club? You going that far with it?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that, you know what I mean? That's your opinion.
I think Sir Bobby's in the conversation, and obviously Ryan Giggs has given us an incredible service and he's owned that left hand side for almost a decade and a half. But I look at Giggs when he burst onto the scene was fantastic. But throughout his peak years, even if you remember the 99 season, he's in and out of the team. He had that great semi-final goal against Arsenal, and he had some great moments. But at his peak, did he ever look like he was one of the best players in the world? I thought he started his career on fire, and then he adapted his career, and he became a good player in his later years. But in terms of consistency at the top, he was never in and around that Ballon d'Or conversation. And when Cantona finished third in 93, it was Bergkamp who finished second, Henry's wingman. So it's not like, if you look at Arsenal's all-time best team, you're looking at a lot of the players, apart from Leon Brady and Cesc Fabregas, all the great Arsenal players all played with Henry. When you look at United's all-time great team, a lot of them didn't play with. He didn't play with the likes of George Best or even if you want to say Wayne Rooney. He didn't play with Cristiano Ronaldo. He didn't play with Rio or Stam. He didn't play with players of this ilk. He had Schmeichel.
The players weren't very good that he played with.
Well, I think the fact that Fergie stripped down that, got rid of 3 key ornaments. Paul Ince was a driving force. Kanchelskis on the right hand side.
I think Sir Alex Ferguson doesn't get the credit he deserves in terms of bringing the young kids through, keeping that philosophy, the Busby Babes. We were forced into it after Munich to bring younger players in, and it's something that's just part of the club's culture. Bringing young players through, it's what we're all about. But in terms of the greatest player ever, you're saying Cantona was the greatest ever player for Manchester United. So I'm saying that Henry is the greatest player to ever play for Arsenal.
But in that period as well, was he the leader of the team, or was it Patrick Vieira?
But not just the fact that Henry did what he did at Arsenal. I think it's quite clear to see what he did in Europe when he moved to Barcelona. He also did a little spell over.
Come on, man! You can't give him the Barcelona thing. He's playing with Messi in that Barca team.
Hold on. This is a guy.
It's like Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors.
This is a guy who's had a great career. Not only that, he's won a Euros and he's won a World Cup. Okay, and he was instrumental in everything that he's been a part of. But Thierry Henry in his prime was absolutely phenomenal. He was just unplayable for me. I remember watching games against Spurs and Liverpool. He's run the entire pitch and beat everybody on and scored. He was doing stuff that other players couldn't do, and I used to love. At the time, if I'm honest with you, I used to enjoy watching Arsenal as much as I enjoyed United, but without the emotions if they lost or anything like that, because he was that good. But hold on, I just want to finish and make my point with this. The reason why Henry is better than Cantona, right, is not just because of how he's viewed by his club at Arsenal and the career that he had, but you can even look at United and Cantona, how he's viewed by United fans, and I would say that Henry is probably revered greater, and that can be seen with the statue that he's got outside the stadium. Has Cantona got a statue at United?
I think that's partly because Arsenal's lack of history. You know, who else are they going to give a statue to? Leon Brady? Come on, let's be real about it, fella. But, you know, you just said he was unplayable and you wanted to get into all them other dimensions, which, listen, I'm more than happy to get to you know,
remember the back heel he scored?
Man, listen, listen, if Cantona didn't continue at 30 years old, who knows what we'd be talking about. But if we just taken that short spell in England.
Me and Henry were the same age. 44. I followed him his entire career. He's incredible. He's been great.
You said you're talking about all Henry's other accolades, and listen, the personality was a part of it. Henry got into the French team. He stayed in the French team, and he was always beloved across the board.
He was absolutely electric. He was unplayable.
But in terms of personality, he wasn't going to ruffle any feathers, and he was going to fit in.
You sure about that?
He was going to fit in everywhere. Henry was going to fit in everywhere. Okay, so. What I'm saying is, in terms of his personality, he wasn't an aggressive character.
He never got a red card, put it that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic, iconic. But you're talking about he's unplayable, so I want to address that. Italy played against France in '98 when they won the World Cup. Did Henry score that game? Yes or no, please?
It's not about scoring.
Listen, I'm just
every game.
Look, hold on. You've had your piece. Can I have a piece?
Yeah, of course you can. But
Thanks.
Henry's stats are a goal or assist every game.
In the World Cup '98,
he's involved in a goal every game.
So that French World Cup team, yeah, because he's France's all-time leading goal scorer. In that game, when they won the first World Cup,
oh, is he now?
He is. Did Thierry Henry cause any damage to that Italian backline in '98?
He's always caused problems.
Listen, if you don't answer the question, I'll answer the question for you. The answer's no, right?
He's a threat.
Euro 2000 final. Italy against France, where Trezeguet and Wiltord scored late in injury time.
Live, he was a threat the entire game. Because he had pace to burn.
In Euro 2000, he had one run, which looked dangerous. We body checked him. We took a yellow card. Did he do anything in that game?
Yeah, he did.
What did he do?
He was a constant threat down that left.
But he didn't penetrate us, did he?
He did penetrate us.
And if it weren't for Trezeguet and Wiltord, they would have been on the way out.
He penetrated us for when he got down to the byline and they squared it across for Trezeguet. Sure, he was the instigator behind that.
Are you sure? Well, at the end of the day,
listen, we're splitting hairs. At the end of the day,
okay.
Henry's got the Henry's got the stats.
2006. No, you're saying he's unplayable. 2006.
He was unplayable. He was incredible.
2006 in the World Cup.
You're trying to nitpick.
2006 in the World Cup final. What did he do? This is an all-time greatest player. What did he do? Because I'm telling you right now.
What did he do? He won the World Cup. That's what he did.
What, in 2006?
No, actually,
he absolutely didn't win. Come on, let's remember. Yeah, exactly.
But in 2000,
he had in 2006.
In Euro 2000, when they won he played a big part.
What did he do in 2006?
In '98, when they won the World Cup, he had a big part of it. Henry,
a big part,
has never ever gone into a team.
Thuram had a bigger part than him.
No, Henry has never gone into a team and fallen asleep. He's always been a protagonist in a team. He's a quality player.
Always.
You're trying to rubbish a guy
who's
in the Hall of Fame. You are. You're trying to say Cantona's better than Henry, and he just isn't.
How's he not?
Because he isn't.
Of course he is. Look at what he's done. Right. We're talking Premier League first, but Thierry Henry, you're making it sound like...
What do you mean, what's he done? How many goals did Cantona score?
Thierry Henry...
There's a goal every other game.
Do you know what, though? He's not... He is a de facto guy that plays in the playmaker. He's a number 10, even though he wore the 7, like Bergkamp. So it's kind of like...
Listen, Henry
almost
got
like
more assists than Cantona.
Do you know what? Salah's got numbers off the charts too. Not better than Cantona. Yeah? Not better. Don't matter how much pace he's got. Don't matter how many goals he's got. What Cantona...
People would disagree with that.
Who?
This is your opinion.
Liverpool fans.
This is your opinion. And like I say, what I didn't want to do first and foremost, is I didn't want to go against any United player. But when you're making these statements, you know, it's like when you said Pogba was better than Zidane. You just
Who said that?
You did.
Who said that?
You did.
No, that's not what I said at all.
That's exactly what you said.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
I said creatively, I think
Pogba was better than Zidane.
No, I think Pogba.
And I just said that's just the most outrageous thing I've ever heard.
I think
you just tried slating Zidane.
You're just absolutely trying to move off topic to win yourself some favour because there
is no favour.
Wait, that in its isolation is just a bogus shout, and also
why is it?
And it's misinterpreting the point.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's the truth. It's just to show you how you like doing comparisons.
No.
And what you do is you come up with a narrative and you try and make your comparison fit that narrative. That's what you do.
No, to address the Zidane versus Pogba. My point there was that.
So you didn't say that Pogba was better than Zidane.
No, I said
Rubbish.
Pogba contributed more at Juventus. At Juventus, Pogba had a better stint at Juventus than Zidane did at Juventus. When Zidane was at Juventus, the best player at Juventus was Alessandro Del Piero. And Zidane, although going for a world record fee, etc., he wasn't lighting up the game.
Although he went for a world record fee.
Pogba did. But in terms of like him,
Pogba is nowhere near in the level of Zidane.
No, but at Juventus,
in any shape or form, in any aspect,
Zidane went to a Juventus team that had just won the European Cup in 95-96.
He's better at dancing. Pogba's probably better at dancing than Zidane.
Listen,
that is it.
I'm just saying, creatively, if you want to go from something, if you want to create something, I think Pogba's got more in his tool bag. In terms of midfield, who do I trust? I trust Zidane. I trust Zidane to do what he's doing. But in terms of Zidane, he goes and joins a Juventus team that are the champions of Europe when he gets there. And then he goes to Real Madrid with an R9 and all the rest of it. And don't forget, in 98, Zidane did nothing in the whole tournament until the final when he scored his headers. He'd been sent off. In the semi-final, it was Julian Thuram who was bailing him out. I mean,
I just don't agree with
Zidane's a myth. But listen, why are you changing it?
Football's great because it's all about opinions.
No, but let's
and you're entitled to your
let's
opinion.
go back to the Cantona versus Thierry Henry. How right is Thierry Henry a greater player? Because he has got great numbers. He's played 8 years. And he has been a champion on 2 occasions.
My opinion.
And also, I want to address.
He was incredible. He was unplayable on his day.
I want to address the Invincibles.
He was absolutely incredible. And when United used to play him, I used to just think that he's the danger man and he's the difference.
I want to address the Invincibles.
He's the difference.
I want to address the Invincibles. Address it. I will address it. How do you go on about being invincible when you're knocked out of every single competition? It happened in the space of a few weeks. You're not invincible at all. Juventus went for a whole season not losing a game in Serie A. But you know what invincibility is? It's a treble. Yeah, that's invincibility. And it's not that Cantona had a treble. But I'm just saying, in terms of this invincible little window, like to this brooch to put on yourself, you weren't invincible. You're getting slapped out of competitions. Look, I think Thierry Henry, he's up there as one of the best Premier League players. And he came at a time where Patrick Vieira was their de facto leader, and Henry was the leader when they got to the Champions League final. I think if we're making a case for Thierry Henry, I think it's the fact that he had that run with Arsenal. He took them to a Champions League final where they got beat by Barcelona. And Cantona didn't have that European success or of getting to a final. But I do think the limitations and the restrictions around EU players, non-EU players, was a big factor in United having a good European run at that time, which they later addressed obviously in the 98-99 season. But when I look at it, I look at Eric Cantona taking away Leeds, where he's just won the title, but he's won the title 4 times in 4 full seasons. And in the first season he comes in, he's the difference maker. Yeah, they're languishing between 5th and 8th. He comes in and he gets some 10 points clear, and he's the difference maker. The second season is Player of the Year. Yeah, and he's also finishing 3rd in the Ballon d'Or. And the second season, he's the best player. The 3rd season, he's suspended. He comes back in the 4th season and he's dragging the kids. As I said, he goes on that run in the back end of the season, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 4 1-0s, 4 Cantona goals when we're trying to catch up for the race. And he scored in 6 consecutive games, which propels us. And then he obviously finishes it off with the Liverpool strike, where he was everything. And obviously he then retires, so we get to see him go out at top. And sometimes that immortalizes people. Like Zidane, he goes out, he's at the top of his game, and we don't get to see him wither away and have poor performances. So I get that bit, but I just look at that spell of Eric Cantona in that era as a Michael Jordan-esque. Did he have disciplinary issues? Yeah, because he missed a season which he could have won as titles, but when he was on the pitch, which was 80% of the time,
who's more likely to get you a goal, Henry or Cantona?
If you mean get you a goal, who's more likely to score the goal? I'd say Thierry Henry. But if you're going to say who's more likely to make a goal from something, I say Eric Cantona.
Well, why has Henry got more assists than Cantona?
I mean, are we looking at Eric Cantona? I mean, do you look at Platini as the greatest? The Platini. Do you look at Henry as the greatest French player? Because I think that would be Michel Platini. And then behind him, I don't care who's won what with France and brought honours. I still look at the players, and I don't think Zidane's better than Eric Cantona, and I don't think Thierry Henry is. I think the only person who can lay claim to being better than Eric Cantona, from what I've seen, is Michel Platini.
Well, listen, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. I think you've put up a good argument for it, but you've not convinced me, fella. I think Henry's a better player than Cantona. Do I like him more than Cantona? Certainly not. I'm not going to buy an Henry shirt, but you might see me with a Cantona 7 with the collar up. Absolutely. Cantona was a legend. What he did for United was fantastic, but Henry...
Luciano, you sat there wearing a Totti 10 top. Cantona, the back heels he was dropping, the inventiveness.
Come on, you can't tell me Henry weren't skillful.
Listen, no, but Cantona, to me, was a fantasista. Yeah, he was in the mould of a 10, and he was doing... And the thing is, he was carrying the team. He was everything you wanted with a 10. Is you give the 10 the ball and you say, bring us home, big guy. Can you bring us home?
I think Henry was that player as well, though. He was that player at Arsenal, and he was that player at France. I just think Henry was he was a threat on the football pitch. He could do everything. He could dribble. He could use his left foot. He could use his right foot. He had phenomenal pace. He was good in the air. There was nothing Henry couldn't do. And I just felt that when Henry was playing for Arsenal, I just thought to myself, when United used to play him, I used to just think if he was playing, he was a difference maker. We had to watch him because he could win. He could win Arsenal again. I mean, I saw some of the goals Henry used to score. I'm talking 30-yarders, 35-yarders, running the whole pitch, volleys, back heel. The guy had everything. Cantona scored some great goals.
The thing is though, there was players doing, maybe not with the longevity, but there was players doing what he did before him, such as Nicolas Anelka. When he burst onto the scene.
Do Arsenal fans love Henry more than United fans love Cantona?
Yeah, okay. But, there's more United fans, so probably by right. I don't know. I mean, if you go to the modern United fan, the young United fan, in this wave of fan base, a lot of people will be looking at Wayne Rooney and thinking he's the guy. They won't understand because they weren't there. They didn't see it. But if you saw it, and you did see it, if you saw what Eric was bringing, that's why it's a surprise to me, and that's why we'll continue to press upon the point.
If you say to United fans, I mean, we could even do a poll, but if you said to United fans who's better, Cantona or Wayne Rooney, I think a lot of United fans are going to say Wayne Rooney.
I think they will too. In fact, I know they will because I've done the polls. But you know what?
He's the record goal scorer.
It doesn't matter. He still wasn't,
and he doesn't. I don't think Rooney gets the respect he deserves. I think he was a great footballer.
Yeah, but he still wasn't. Really was. Listen, you can say, a lot of people will say this. They will, but it's not right. And the reason it's not right is Wayne Rooney has been there for 13 seasons at United. Yeah, 13 seasons, I believe. He's won 5 league titles. Never in any of them 5 league titles has he been United's best player. That point there on its own is a worrying. Cantona was United's best player every season. It's not even a debate, and he was the protagonist. So the first 3 titles he wins, he has Ronaldo in his team, so he can't be the best player. And then he's won one where Dimitar Berbatov is the top goal scorer, and he's in the RVP title winning season. So in them 5 years where we've won titles, Rooney wasn't our best player. Now I get he's a great team player and he put up numbers, and he's a fantastic pro. He had a great career at United, but we're nitpicking because we're talking about the very, very best. We can also look at Wayne Rooney and say he had 2 seasons where he got 38 goals, and in them seasons he looked unstoppable. But you know what? In them seasons, like Thierry Henry with all his goals, we didn't win anything. You get 38 goals and your cabinet's bare at the end of the season. Rooney will tell you himself he's not happy with them seasons. He liked to be more involved, and the goals in themselves weren't enough. He wanted to win titles. So
who is more important to United, would you say, Roy Keane or Eric Cantona?
But obviously the overlap. But in that Cantona era, it was obviously Cantona, and Cantona came kind of with Keane. But then Keane picked up the baton, so to speak, and he was. And that's another point. Keane's arguably, in my opinion, the second most valuable player in Premier League history. ahead of Henry. So I, if I'm saying who were the best players in Premier League history, I'm Eric Cantona number one, because first of all, when it first started, he was dominant, yeah, and then Roy Keane, because not only have United never ever replaced a player of that ilk, but the way he drove the whole team forward. And I feel like, although Henry, for me, was always Arsenal's best player when he was in the team, I look at the other players he played with. The Petit and Vieira midfield was incredible. The defence, the keeper, the whole unit, that Arsenal team was quite. Henry was always the best player, yeah, but leadership-wise, and look, Bergkamp, they've got, for me, Bergkamp, I think he's a little bit lower than where people like to project him. I really do, because what I saw of him at Inter Milan was poor. And what I saw of Henry wasn't great at Juventus, but Henry developed himself into that next level. I thought Bergkamp had great moments and a great time at Arsenal, but if anyone ever hit me with the Bergkamp versus Cantona debate, I just wouldn't even embrace it, to be honest. And I hear your point, because I rate Henry. I think he's a top class player. Did he have a better career than Cantona? Obviously, he goes over, he wins the treble with Barcelona, but he's playing with Messi, he's playing with a dominant team. I don't look at that and think, oh, Henry, you added something to your to your cabinet. I don't really see it like that, because I don't see Ronaldo increasing his profile by going to Juventus and winning their 8th and 9th Scudetto in a row. They'd already laid the foundation. It was a gimme. But when Henry was winning the titles with Arsenal, that was him a protagonist. When Cantona was winning it at United, it was him the protagonist. But yeah, I mean, I find obviously it a little bit interesting, but I don't really know how people can't just take Cantona's career. Obviously, it's a smaller sample size, and just think it's Michael Jordan-esque. He was flawless, and the guy was delivering in cup finals. The guy always delivered. That's all I can say about King Eric. I mean, the only thing I'm disappointed with is that by wearing this incredible hoodie, I didn't get to wear a top where I could put my collar up and just say, you're talking about the "What's Up" celebration. What a goal! But what about the chip and the little? Oh, come on, with the chest out. I mean, there's that video footage going around of when Vinnie Jones was kicking 10 buckets of loads out of his legs, and then he just turns around, flicks it up and volleys it in and just says, "Mi scusi." Yeah. You know what I mean? It's King Eric.
Listen, I mean, it's one of them. I think you're not gonna convince me that he's better than Henry, and I love Eric Cantona, but I just think Henry, as a football player, if I had to pick between them both, I think he just edges it.
The only other thing I want to mention on the situation is I get that if you're going into a game against Henry, your defence has to be laid out different because of the pace factor and what he can bring to it. You have to be aware of him at all times. Whereas Cantona is a traditional number 10. He's a traditional number 10, but he was outstanding, especially when he found that harmony in his career where he had the right manager and he enjoyed the environment. The environment was laid out for him. But obviously, we've had our say. We want to know what you think. Who do you think's better, or had a better career in the Premier League or Premiership at the time?
He's got a statue. It's pretty big, isn't it?
Have you been to the Etihad or the Etihad? Have you been there? And they've got like loads of kind of they're trying to make it historic. There's no history there. There's limited history at Arsenal. You're talking about but you're talking about these guys got statues. Look, no one looks at Cantona and doesn't think this guy changed United's fortunes. Yeah, despite winning the Cup Winners' Cup.
You said earlier on that the modern day person you speak to them, they won't really know Cantona, kids and stuff like that, but they'll know Henry. Listen, you go to that Arsenal stadium. First of all, it's an incredible stadium. Yeah, we've been there to watch Italy, Brazil. It is an awesome place to play football, just like Old Trafford is. But you speak to Arsenal fans, and they will always remember Henry. And you can say the same with Cantona. His voice gets sung around the stadium. But I think that there'll be kids going to that stadium who won't really know as much of him. There's not. He retired arguably too early. If we would have played for a few more years, then maybe.
When you've got that "What's up" goal, yeah, against United, massive.
That's
goal.
Not his best goal. I think Henry's scored that many good goals. Henry's 100 goals, the video, every single one.
How many great goals he scored against United? How many times did
he scored great goals
against United?
Yeah.
Well, tell me some, because I remember Roy Keane scoring more goals in that fixture than Henry. Like in my memory, I'm not saying he has, but I remember the two where we've got the blue top on with the white stripes, and he went to I think it might have been Highbury at the time, where he goes and he gets cashes in for 2 goals and we win the game
every time.
Think about Keane and Arsenal.
We used to play against Arsenal and Barthez was in there. Henry would get one over him. That's what I remember.
Oh, well, there was the Barthez. There definitely was the Barthez, but that wasn't that wasn't Henry producing something special. That was Barthez having a moment of madness and saying.
So, have you ever seen in any game? Have you ever seen a player flick the ball up on the turn and volley it in the top bins like that? Ever?
Well, that goal there, and in that type of game, for me was an outstanding moment. But did we get a lot of them? Because he played 8 seasons. Did we get a lot of them moments? Did we get a lot of the moments where he was producing that kind of magic? Obviously, there's the time where Barthez gives it up, but you know, I don't think that when we went into games, how many times did Thierry Henry cut us open? It weren't happening all the time, was it?
We're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. You think Cantona was better than Henry?
Do you know what?
I love Cantona more than Henry, but I don't think he was a better player. That's just my opinion.
In that period where Arsenal,
I've got my opinion.
In that period where Arsenal had that success, Keane owned United. Arsenal. Keane owned Arsenal. What about the time when we went down there and they had the kick it out racism shirts, and Gary Neville was getting picked on by Vieira? And, you know, look at the whole in the tunnel, all that business, yeah?
Listen, I love it all, but Henry versus Cantona, I'm sticking with Henry, you're sticking with Cantona. See what these guys think.
Yeah.
Let's pull it out there.
Drop it in the comment section. Give it an Henry or Cantona. Yeah. And if I see any Henry,
comparisons.
If I see any Henrys, I'm gonna be checking you and asking you if you've done your research.
Jordan, come on.
No, his career was Jordan-esque in that window.
Come on, fella. Hey.
Okay, so I play 6 seasons. I win 6 titles, or the time I didn't win is because I wasn't playing. That's like Bulls. He won a treble, he retired, he come back, he won won a 3-peat, retired, come back, won another 3-peat. The only time you're winning is when I'm not on the field. That's Jordan-esque in that snapshot of his career.
See, the thing is I think we need to wrap this up, because I think we have probably gone over on this, but it's because at the end of the day, it's a passionate topic. It's Eric Cantona, everybody loves him. Henry, not for the non-United fans, football fans in general are going to love him. But you made a point earlier, and I just thought about it. And you said, you're pretty much saying that Henry played in a great team with great players, but Cantona kind of played with no one. That's what you said, isn't it?
Well, I feel like Cantona played on a team that was bubbling up there, but attack-wise, he's working with Mark Hughes and he's working with Brian McClare. Did Brian McClare get 10 goals?
Hold on. So all what you're saying is, let's just be clear about this, that Henry was playing with better players in United.
Offensively.
Cantona pretty much was a one-man team almost with young kids around him, yeah?
I felt like Cantona was more like Baggio at Juventus. He was carrying the load.
When did Cantona retire?
We retired at 30 in 96, 97, end of 96, 97 season.
Okay, and what happened in 99?
They won the treble.
Right then.
Yeah, but they won the treble because they added pieces.
That played with Cantona. Yeah. Those players that played, the same players that played with Cantona, won the treble.
Also with a Yap stamp. Also with a Dwight York, who was a big addition. Yeah. I mean, listen. But obviously Roy Keane matures into that guy.
We had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We had Teddy Sheringham. We had Andy Cole up front, as well as Dwight York. You know what I mean? He wasn't he wasn't the game changer. He wasn't the reason why we won the treble.
Can I ask you a question?
I think we should move on anyway.
No.
We need to put that out there because you were making out there.
No, so you don't want me to write a reply?
Yeah,
you don't want me to have are you sure? Are you sure?
Reply.
Okay, so my right reply to that is Juventus won the Champions League the year after Roberto Baggio left. Were they a better team without Baggio, or were they not?
Well, if they won the Champions League, they were.
No, they weren't.
Because again, that's your opinion. Which you're entitled to. Bloody hell, I almost joked. Which you're entitled to. But I think I just wanted to make that point because you were making out like Cantona was almost a one-man team. He wasn't. He was in a great team, the same way Henry was.
Well, listen, Ryan Giggs, he says that as they were playing, you had Giggs on one flank, you had Lee Sharp, and you had Kinchelskis, and the guy that unlocked the players was always Eric Cantona. The first thing they did when they got the ball was get it to Cantona and everyone on the bikes. Yeah, and he used to always come up with pivotal goals. As I said, they're clawing back 10-point deficits, and Cantona's scoring the only goal to win the game week in, week out. But as I said, the record speaks for itself. I think each one of them 4 titles takes you on a different journey of Cantona excellence. But at Leeds, he showed excellence. At Marseille, he was showing excellence. This guy, he had his issues with the French Federation, and he was a character. He was a Di Canio character in essence. He was a bit of a maverick.
But by prolonging the topic, it doesn't mean what you're saying is right. Again, it's your opinion. I've got my opinion. Let's throw it out there. Let's see what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, but you can't start dropping that. Oh well, United won the treble a couple of years after.
It just shows that they had a great team.
Yeah, well, listen. Of course, they had a great team. They had a good team
you
before he got there.
You were making out like Cantona was like the best player, and everybody else was just, he was like carrying the whole team himself.
But players and teams can evolve. United, obviously, they didn't win the league the year before they won the treble. They won nothing. I think Fergie gets credit for time after time building team after team. But in that first team of success, that first period of success, there's no shadow of a doubt Cantona was the de facto player. Just like in the last period of success, the key guy was Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't think that needs looking at and scrutinising too much.
We should park it there and
park the bus, Man United.
I think you should watch it.
Park the bus, I say.
It's one to throw out there. Listen, you've had your piece on it. You wanted your piece on it. You've had your piece on it. Let's hear what people have got to say.
Absolutely.
It's an interesting one.
Just to throw it out there, 14 days before Christmas, no one said nothing. But with 7 days before Christmas, they were singing the Cantona song. But anyway, listen, thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you think. Cantona or Thierry Henry.